Okay, cool. Yeah. Just online now, I guess. Yeah, so Tuesday was kind of like usually when I stream. And today, trying to make up for it. Basically, my house got flooded. Freak storm happened. And that pretty much put the blocker on that because my entire basement got flooded, and that's kind of where I am. Unfortunately, I have a pretty dull desk. Nothing got soaked that way. Everyone was fine. My little guy was a little frightened, but he's okay now. Right, so where were we last week? We were basically in the middle of being able to run, write a few tests, and I think we'll just pick up from there. I'm just going to keep this building in the background. I read some stuff from somebody about getting your tests and your recompiles to run really super fast, or running your tests super fast using GHCI somehow. I really look forward to a blog post to that because that sounds pretty cool. But -- build -- fast with stack also works pretty well. So welcome back again. We're learning how to build a database, and we're doing it in Haskell. And we've been doing protocols. So let's just review quickly the serialization stuff that we did and the arbitrary instances we created there for the primitives. So I was thinking when I was reviewing this a little bit, the idea with our protocol here, this might not be a problem. But one of the things you might notice about this code is that, for example, the string parser here, we take a bunch of digits up to a line separator, then we parse the digits into an integer. I think that's a 32-bit integer in GHC, if I'm not mistaken, signed. And if we do parse that integer like that, which means our string sizes are limited to the size of that number, we take that many bytes off the stream. Now, one thing about readint, all right, we're only taking digits, so actually this wouldn't be unsigned. This wouldn't have a sign in front of it. I think it excludes that, so that's okay. But anyways, the thing I was thinking was that if somebody, for reasons, maybe got the encoder wrong, or they're actually trying to mess around with a Rosby server, what if they don't put the right number there? All right. And let's say they put, I don't know, 512 bytes. So we take 512 bytes. So take will be in, I think those will be word 8s, bytes. And we read 512 of them, but let's say, for the sake of argument, that the stream of bytes here are, like, I don't know, more RESP instances, or RESP primitives. Is that going to be a problem for our protocol? Would we get into, basically, would we be able to put the parser into a bad state where we start making it read data in a funny way that's not supposed to? My instinct says this is probably not going to be a problem, because if you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out with this parser for these primitive types. So it's probably not a huge deal. Yeah, but again, it's something to think about because I don't know. I felt like it just popped in my mind. I was in the shower one day. I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's something that we should look out for, because when we want to parse these, and we would like our parser to recognize the input and that we expect the types we want and nothing else. So hopefully that's what this code does. But yeah, we might need to start getting an issue tracker together to start collecting some of these shower thoughts together. And maybe work on them in the future at some point. Anyway, so we created some primitives here, and we were about to write some unit tests for this, and I was kind of thinking about like property-based tests for this, the command parser. So the command parser takes those primitives and turns them into actual server commands, things we recognize. I was trying to grasp, I think at the end of the stream, like what properties does this really have? And I don't think it really has any interesting algebraic properties, like it's not commutative or associative or anything like that. We're really just parsing the bifunctor. Like, if we get good input, does it go to the right? If we get bad input, does it go to the left? And I think there might be one thing that we could test here. We wanted to say that for some given key size, we should error out. And if you give us a silly input, we're going to get left. We're going to get a right. But I think I was mostly just concerned about getting good coverage for the edge cases here, if there are any, like if we forget a pattern match or something like that. But I don't think that's terribly interesting. So we might want to just say, like, you know, if we get a set command and the key, the thing we read next, the number of that field is something ridiculous, then don't even bother with the rest. We'll just throw a left here. We'll go left here, and not put that in the store and not do anything with it. Just drop it on the floor. Drop it like it's hot. And that way we'd have something to test. Yeah. It wouldn't be terribly interesting, but we don't have to write very many tests. Maybe just one. That was a thought there. So yeah. And basically what I would do there is I'd probably just write like an arbitrary for generating goodish commands that actually kind of make sense. And then I don't think testing the garbage case is going to be very useful. So something like we'll need test quick check, and we'll need test.hspec. That's probably capital S. Could not find the module. It's got to be in there. Packages. Yeah. Maybe GHCID can't find it. That's okay. I'm pretty sure it's there. So let's describe. From prim, I think we called it. It should parse a. Hey, how's it going, friend? How are you? Sivladovpi. Nice streams, by the way. Been enjoying that. You have a great schedule. A lot of interesting topics. Yeah, so we're just working on the command parser right now. Kind of like a silly little just sanity check, kind of quick check test thing. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I don't think this one's going to be terribly useful right now until we kind of play around with this more. So something or other. Let's just go quick. Right, so we're gonna arbitrary, I don't know, good command, an actual arbitrary command generator. So this will basically we're going to try and generate a list of an array of primitives, a primitive array that we could use from prim on to get, we could get something that is command like, and we'll use that to test whether we can actually, the command actually does parse or if it goes left. And we only care that, yeah, see, I'm thinking about it and I don't even like it all that much, to be honest. So we're learning how to build a key value data store in Haskell. That's what we're working on. So we called the server Rosby, and it's going to be an in-memory database with keys and values. And yeah, Rosby is a cute little name I picked up. I think it's from Game of Thrones, Book 4, or not Game of Thrones, I should say, A Song of Ice and Fire. Book 4, Rosby was appointed. It's kind of like a minor character, doesn't really show up very much, but he's appointed as like the master of keys on the council. Thought that was cool. Okay, key base, whatever. But yeah, maybe you have an opinion about this because I'm not terribly interested in this right now. I don't feel like this is going to be very fun. But I don't know. Maybe we should go ahead. Anyways, the idea is that we have this parsing protocol, the serialization layer to our protocol, and it parses primitives, kind of like RESP. It's kind of where we got the idea from in Redis. This structure here, the array type of our primitive, is what the client should send to the server when they want the server to do something. They serialize it in the form of an array of primitives. It says array primitive here, but our parser will only actually return in the list of primitives strings or numbers. So it's not terribly descriptive as a type, but that's what our parser does. And you can see that down here at the array parser, just strings or ints. And so we wrote at another layer on top of the serialization, we wrote this from prim command that takes our array, it only really cares about our array, and parses a command from it. And the idea was that, well, it's starting to get a little bit tricky. Maybe we could write a quick check test to just make sure that, I don't know, we can parse these things and get commands out of it with from prim. Because we saw that in the REPL. So yeah, I'm gonna start just less ummings, more thingies. So what do we need to do to get an arbitrary kind of like OK command? Is basically we need to be able to construct an array of our type with the first element to be one that we choose, and the rest of the elements to be arbitrary strings or numbers. And then we return that arbitrary command here. And so that will get us a primitive array that has at least a known good input as the first element. So it'll be either set, delete, or get. And then the rest could be gobbledygook. Random stuff. The approach I'm thinking about when we do this is that we're probably going to get a lot of noise and not a lot of good inputs for, say, a set command that requires kind of other things. So let's not quick check it actually. Let's just do a single example unit test just for sanity's sake. And we'll if we come up with actual quick check properties, we'll use quick check, but let's just keep it on the DL for now. I think this is the third time I've probably talked about it, and that's a sign that I'm not too sure. So let's just go with the simpler one. So we'll just create a set command from our primitive that we would get from our parser and try to send that to from prim. So that will look like this. It'll be an array of, say, 3 elements. And the first one will be a string, 3 of set. The next one will be our key. So it'll be a stir, say file 4. 3. Boo. It's easy. And the last thing could be either a string or a num. It's the value we're going to set at the key foo. So let's make that keeping with folklore and tradition. Oh, bar comes before Baz. It's true. It's computer science. And then basically we're going to take from prim of that command. And we're going to assert that it should be set command of foo and bar. I think that's right. Jump over to that to just double check. That's why GHC IDE isn't working on this test file. Yeah. And I actually couldn't find test.hspec. What happened? So it wasn't our dependencies for the test module. Yeah, hspec. Did I import it wrong? It's happened to me a few times. Let's just quickly look at the hspec documentation. Yeah, test.hspec. That should be right. Maybe it's not lying to us. That's really weird. What's going on? Maybe we need to rebuild it. Hey, Wizard Stick, thanks for coming again. It's nice to see you. I'm returning again. It's makes me feel happy. I'm building a little community here. Okay. For some reason we're not getting our hspec dependency compiled with into our test program here. These invalid magic number things are driving me nuts. Oh, okay. Ha ha ha. Pebcac. Perhaps I did mean that, GHC. Thank you. GHC, we're friends. We're like this. Okay, maybe not. That's better. Okay, cool. Yes, we got to import our protocol, Rosby.protocol. And serial. Now should come the magic. All right. Let's see if James does it great today. Yeah. Should be either string command, of course. Of course. So yeah, that's really annoying. You see what happens when you don't get your developer tooling set up right. So the GHC, I don't know why it's not working on this file. LSP diagnose. So what's connected? Everything's okay. I don't think I see anything that's really weird. Let's just run this like we're running our builds with file watch and fast. I hate having to run my own tests. It's no good. Just do it. Okay. It's going to be really noisy anyway. Fine. Fine. That's okay. Ignore me. You know, I was checking out Pretzel. I think I have that. I should turn on some music. I don't know if you can hear it, if I've set the sources right. Just let me know if you like the music or not. Took a little cue from your stream there, Vlad. See Vlad? Vlad? Not exactly sure. Okay, what do we get this time? Right, so we had a proper key wrapper type on this. Okay, it's starting to come back to me now. It's been a while since I've looked at this code. Also, been a crazy week. A nutty week. Alright. And I really don't like that that's... Okay. I'm just going to bring that up because it's just bothering me. There you go, command. And it's set, it takes a key in a byte string. Alright, that should be G to G there. Now it's not what it's on. What's going on here? There's no main module. That's because I added a module spec up here, I think. I hope. Yeah, we're looking better now. There we go. My voice is too much baritone. I'm sorry. I'll try and talk like this. I won't. That'll be weird. It's spazzy. If it doesn't go well with the music, then I'll just maybe turn the music down or off. And this one should be turned from prim to get command. All the parentheses are strictly necessary, but do. Del command. Actually, there should be two. It doesn't really matter. And that one should be. Let's just leave it as foo as well. It's not picking up the file launches, that's interesting. This is running under WSL2. I don't know if they've done all of the Linux APIs, maybe not a notify or something, but... yeah, because we didn't rename it delete, we named it actually delete. That makes total sense. Okay. That's nice. And maybe one for kicks. Okay. What's up, Dust HC? Thanks for coming out to the stream. Yeah, for some reason it's not picking up our file watches. Not exactly sure why. So if the user basically gives us garbage, like when it's something that's not recognized. Or actually, no, if we give it anything that isn't an array, like if we just try to do stir 3 of food, that should be a left. I'm not even sure what will be in it. Let's see. This. So, if they try to send us an array, I don't know, of one element, but it's a stir of like something silly, that should also be the same thing to think as up here. Alright. Or no, it'll be unrecognized command. Centralize the and then once we got this going, should probably review the command module. As I remember, I kind of sped through a bit of code there just to get it on paper, so to speak, and see if there are any patterns there. And I think we might be cinched on a few things, so go ahead and fix that up. So, Wizard Stick. What's my favorite board game? My favorite board game changes with my mood, but say my top ones. Usually, I personally like really thick, heavy games, like Blotto games, or like Mage Knight and his version of Star Trek. Amazing. But I end up playing those solo a lot because not a lot of people can stand spending that much time and effort running a board game like that. But I also just, I don't know. What other ones are there that I play a lot? I like story-heavy games, so like adventure games and things like that. Gloomhaven is probably one of my favorites right now for that, for sure. It's amazing. So if you haven't played Gloomhaven before, you're not sure about it, get it on Steam. It's pretty great. Yeah. So it's hard to say. But sometimes I just like super light games. I like also, like, I follow this one designer. I bought all of his games, like Innovation and Glory to Rome. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but I like bought pretty much all of the games that he's ever made, and they're like Matane. Very tight card games, with very mechanical rules. Yeah, so it depends on my mood and like who I'm with. You gotta pair it right to the experience and like what you're feeling right now.